late or early, but we are here to do the twin flame update. I know you guys have been waiting a long time. I usually get them done on a Friday, but I had other things that were taking up my time, unfortunately. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I cover the astrology. I'm in twin flame union, and I do the coaching connected to the path. If you are wanting a booking, the link is below, as well as if you do subscribe and hit the notification bell, you will get updates as to when I am live, and I tend to put it in the community tab. Now, I have pulled ruins where I have actually found that for the connection and for what's going on astrologically, it's almost like synchronistically storylines coming through with the ruins. So I've put tabs in the book, and I am looking at the energy of both yin and yang, of masculine and feminine. And I will integrate it to a degree to explain at a spiritual level, in the yin and yang for each of you, what potentially is coming up. So I'm sorry I've been delayed, but, life has been getting in the way at the moment. Plus all the extra content I've been doing is taking time. I'm trying to be very present on all platforms. So I'm creating a new schedule, and you will very soon have a schedule as to when I'm going to be live. So you'll be able to come to me, or I will upload it separately, but it will be at that schedule. Now, okay, let's have a look at what's coming through. Spiritually speaking, if a lot of you are, in that mode of wondering what's going on with masculine energetically, from a astrological point of view, we are having on the 11th Mars move into Aries. At the same time, on the 11th, we're also having the energy of the moon being in Pisces, which is linking with Neptune retrograde. So subject matters surrounding our hopes and dreams, the delusions connected to it. You may be going into question mode. You might be going into runner mode if you're a feminine. But, hold that space and sit with that energy. Also, with the fact that we are having Chiron going retrograde. Hi, Stella, I've been thinking about you. On the 11th, we are also at that same time having Aries and Chiron retrograding. So on Instagram, I did do a mini post, but then I was coming to you guys live, but I had some things happen. So I was unable to come to you guys live. With that frequency, I have done a mini read for those of you that do follow me on Instagram. It is based on the placements of where Mars is hitting you for each zodiac sign. So feel free to go and have a look at that. And it covers each zodiac. Miss you too, Stella, as to what's coming up. Now, I'm also going to be creating more content connected to the path. Now, you will notice on YouTube, we've got fantastic readers. For me, the way I do my coaching sessions, I have found at a holistic level, a lot of times you can reach you within 24 hours. A lot of it does come to the end stage of, it's still the same, Dale, so it's Yildiz readings. Yildiz readings 1111, I think, yes. The link is underneath the video, though, for Instagram, for those of you that want to follow me there on Facebook and Instagram. So with the patterns in the path, I am creating the information. I am creating the information linking in with tools for you. However, because I'm doing such an amount of content on YouTube at the moment, it's going to be delayed for a little bit, but I will put it in the notification information section when it's going to be launched. But it will be hopefully lots of brand new content of information, videos, tools you can use, so that with that coaching session, you can be working through those blockages to move into detachment. And I know it sounds crazy, but I will explain both on Instagram and here as to what that process is. And it doesn't mean walking away. It's very holistic in a sense of making peace with things. But once you can, you do directly find you tend to get communication. Astrologically, with Chiron going retrograde, we do have two planets at the moment that are linking with the masculine's awakening. It's also their spiritual process as well. And from the feminine's point of view, most of your planets are going direct at the moment. So we have Juno in Libra at the moment, going direct until October, we had Venus retrograde, which was a very personalized energy. We were going through looking at, our day-to-day task, our social activity we held with twin and other people, what the benefits and the polarities and the communication was with it. So it was very, very deeply reflective. Now, in the last week, many of you may have become a little bit fatigued, and it is due to the fact that we have two polarities at the moment with the energy of Mars. We have Mars entering Aries, which can be very combative, very energetic, wanting to get back on mission, wanting to hurry up. We also have Chiron retrograde, which can be causing some aspects of fatigue. With Neptune retrograde, it is 12th house activation. So your crown's really open, but it is a perfect time at the moment to really be doing clearing energy when it does come to your home, because I do find psychic attacks and things to that degree do tend to come through during a Neptune retrograde. Also, because we have the moon in Pisces on the 11th in July, again, that energy and that portal is actually open. The sleep, usually you will wake up, and it will be overactive energy. You've got to be careful with your consumption of things. We do tend to find with the Pisces frequency, a lot of psychology will be coming up. And, the hunger you do find will come through because, sorry, Giggle, yeah, I had technical issues. You do tend to find that with the energy of ascension, you will get super hungry, and it's usually a sign that you're going to be extremely busy. So you're almost filling your fuel tank so you can be prepared to actually move forward and, move forward. Yeah, amethyst really helps. Definitely important during Neptune retrograde to use tourmaline. We do currently at the moment have Mercury retrograde in Cancer, which is still that nodal axis. And, the first waves are also very linked to breaking down the paradigms of connections. So it's sort of like we've ended that nodal cycle, but now we're implementing that energy. And we're really guided to all the astrology I've given you over the last 2.5 years, linking in with the Cancer Capricorn axis. You now need to directly apply your findings till the end of the year. Otherwise, potentially, we may not be as much in alignment in order to handle twin flame union, twin flame movement. During the break I had prior to trying to come to you this morning, I did see a motorbike, and the motorbike was actually called a double twin. I didn't even know the bloody things existed, and I was like, isn't that ironic that I'm coming to you to do a twin flame video and the bike is a double twin? I do feel this is almost like the chariot energy of situations moving forward. A few of my clients that I've been coaching have been moving into union. Part of the union process, it will first come down to you. So all the work you directly do, I was talking to Shelley this morning and we were talking about the aspects of our learnings, the reason why synchronistically you go through certain things in separation, and you'll find you'll have a lot of adversity after separation, and it will be with your surrounding people in your life. And when that comes, the reason it comes through is so that, it can be people you really care about, it can be family members. With that, the reason it comes up is so that you can actually learn self-mastery. You can start creating healthy boundaries for yourself and owning what's right for you, and start creating the space internally of self-acceptance. So if you can do something, you do it. If you can't, you choose not to. Hi, True Heart. How are you, beautiful? So, with that, it's almost like you're educating yourself how to do that. And that love does not mean enabling. Love means understanding, giving people chances, working with them. But if they're not, actually having to take that hard stand at a very holistic level, and not get so triggered to the point you feel it can't transform, but understanding where you've changed and acknowledging and really working with you. So you're not ultimately going into something with a fake perspective and a false pretense of a capacity of something. You're more moving into it with, I will give this a chance. I understand. I've been there myself. But the healthy boundary is with yourself, where you're your own advocate and you will step back if you need to. And that's why the adversity does directly come through with people around you within separation, so that you can alchemize that and address it. Now I'll get into the read. Jupiter also is retrograde. And masculines are linked to Jupiter, but at the moment the energy of Pluto is coming through very heavily, and it will be going direct. When will it be going direct? October 4th. Juno should be switching signs by then, which is very linked to feminine energy. So much of feminine's almost wanting to move forward. Many of the masculine polarities and energies are doing a lot of soul healing, a lot of comprehension energy, putting things and puzzle energy back together again. Like, why did this not work? Why did that not work? And really at a psychological level, understanding a lot of how much work they've actually done, as well as why in certain situations things weren't merging and meshing. And with the Pluto aspect of things, it is the 8th house placement, which is Mars and Pluto. And they're at the moment with both Chiron and Pluto retrograde doing a lot of work to integrate those energies inside of us, to actually understand how a lot of this, in a sense, was not you. It was with the people in which you were working with the codependent aspects, with the enabling, with the victim consciousness. Yes, at an empathic level, we understand, but also to not be ignorant in a sense of feeling that something could be successful before the fruit was ripe, and if people weren't having the intention to directly work with you. It's not that you are judging that energy, it's that you're stepping back and understanding it's their karmic lesson and it's their path, so to speak. Interestingly enough, masculine's energy is coming through with patience. Feminine's, we've been here. And I had to ask the reasons why. Now, the ruin that we have, every ruin between the energy of the masculine, I've pulled energy for the external on their side, the reasons why they could be embodying some situations. I've pulled the energy between. I've also pulled feminines, and each section has a ruin as well as external for feminine. In the patience vibration, this does link into 7. 7 is very linked to self-worth energy. A lot of times when we're learning the aspect of manifestation, we attract what we believe we are. When you've really mastered that, you actually understand we get both polarities. We get the yin and yang. It's not a personal thing. It can become frustrating. So the patience energy is really nesting, meditating, and also seeing that the patience potentially was given to energies that weren't working with them. So they're actually having this epiphany moment connected to this. And as I mentioned, each ruin is in reverse. So the ruin that we have for masculines is this. And I have actually put this symbol on my arm at the moment because feminines are guided to at the moment. And I'll get into the reasons why. And it is protection, so to speak. I wanted to get a tattoo like that years ago, and it was for the key of life, which is quite synchronistic to what the energy is between both masculines and feminines at the moment. So it is protective, and it is due to the circumstances of what's going on at the moment. So masculines, the ruin that you have. Let me see. Okay, it is in reverse. So it is linked to ash tree. It is also linked in with fire, which at the moment Mars is fire element. Chiron is retrograde. Black Moon Lilith is in Chiron. Black Moon Lilith is in Aries. What else do we have? And we've got Mars in Aries. So it's very heavy masculine Mars energy. So we have the retrograde effect in a sense of healing and understanding the reasons why we do things. We also have the energy to ascend and move forward and start putting our energy into things that serve us, not what don't. That wasn't even English. And facing our shadow, linking in with that. And that can be on the feminine side, very connected to our hunter-gatherer mode, what we're pouring our energy into. So feminines, for you guys, you would need to be looking at the energy in which you place things in. And a lot of wounds can be coming up at the moment, looking at those perspectives. Maybe having great epiphany moments. potentially at times going into lower frequency, then coming back and actually looking at things from a different perspective. Okay, so this in reverse, disconnection, loss of faith, and just this ruin alone is the reasons why this is happening, is linking into connections that did not serve them. So a lot of this is coming up, a bit of frustration and meditation. And it's funny because it says patience, but I feel it's almost like they're pausing. They're pausing, their eyes are closed. They're not coming from an ego point. They're coming from a crown chakra point of looking at the reasons why certain things had happened. So from a spiritual perspective, I don't feel it's combative. I feel it's light bulb moment. It's, okay. This, and having patience for the wrong situations where they're pausing at the moment to see those things have not evolved, revolved, changed. With Chiron retrograde, you're going to get both polarities. You'll get the frustration, but the download, that some of that was based on a delusion. And the reasons why with Chiron retrograde, it's almost giving you the clarity that you've almost, dodged a bullet, so to speak. So it's good in a sense that they're having an epiphany. It does link to practical, okay. Reminds us of the joy of celebration, particularly on a team or tribal level, where the bond between us are honored and embraced. When reversed, we are warned of the threat of a group, the cohesiveness of a group. So they're having epiphanies linking in with working with people in the 8th house who don't directly work with them. And that keeping the faith, patience, in where you place correct energy, it's going to have a better outcome. So it is a real large download. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, so from a point, they're understanding where the ego is coming from. Now, like I said, they aren't coming from a third eye. They're coming from the crown chakra. So the healing that is coming up is the false perspective and the purge of the ego and the healing of the reality of connections that they've past tenthly had, as well as with you, and now seeing things from a very different perspective. Now, in the past, it may have been almost, lack mentality, the frequency of having to focus on their pentacles. But this is self-worth energy I'm seeing, reflecting back and seeing how they had to be that frequency due to the fact that the people that they were entertaining weren't reciprocal, okay? So again, they are doing a lot of reflection back. Some circumstantial situations are coming up to a degree that are giving them direct examples, which can really come through with Aries and Chiron retrograding. It will be synchronistic external events. Again, with the moon being in Pisces, it's moving through, giving us, okay, the epiphany of what the delusion was. And that's where the clarity is coming from. Now, they do know, in the heart of it, they know that they need to move out of troubled waters. They're like, this will not work. Having to physically say goodbye to the past and take that direct leap of faith. And I do feel this was from the Cancer eclipse. Plus, because we now have Mercury in retrograde, it's slowed things down to go back over that ground of that eclipse and to see the reality of what that nodal access meant for them spiritually. So at a connection level, for people that were in connections, karmic partnerships, tribes, operating from that place and seeing where the wounds come from, this is that new beginning where they're moving forward. So many of you will start gaining contact. That's only a step. And when I say it's a step, a lot of the work that you've done on yourself, the proof will be in the pudding, so to speak, once you get into union. And union will first happen with self. The complications of the path do tend to come through once you do reach union, because you're dealing with all the, you're dealing with a brand new person. Then you no longer are the same. Therefore, the outcome can't be the same. So you're really moving into uncharted waters, and the zero energy of the Fool card, when you look at 0 in numerology, it's infinite ways in which a situation can go, and that's both polarities. That's yin and yang, good and bad. So, but it's having the tools inside of you of the past and utilizing them, but not utilizing them in a codependent fashion of, because that happened in the past, the same is going to happen. Really having to throw caution to the wind, because anything priorly that the masculines were doing were not serving them. At the moment where they're at, and I'll cross-reference between the reasons why this is happening, and I may pull clarifiers, the foundation was their belief systems and their conditioning, okay? A lot of this can be based on deciding who was that partner, who to build with. Yes, in the past, potentially, they did believe that you were so, but self-worth energy came into play. And their throat chakra is really playing up at the moment. Funny, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. So articulating this for them. First comes the energy of the meditation, the understanding, the comprehension. Hi, love. But also coming to a rational perspective of coming to terms with it. So really seeing the polarity between a karmic and a feminine. And what that means, and the regret connecting to it. But, you know, we are where we are, so to speak. At the moment, this sacrifice that they're making of a pause is because they're needing to spiritually let energies go. They also don't want to come in a sense of being very grounded, very authentic and open to situations. But we're going to get onto the energy of the feminine. And I will come back to the masculines in order to actually show such, okay? So now, I was like, okay, feminines. Feminines at the moment be really pissed. And the reason I say that is with Chiron retrograding, there are things coming up. Epiphany moments, realizations, looking at potentially what you were led to believe in the connection, or maybe triggered to believe due to circumstances. And through that, you're having a lot of epiphanies where you're looking at things, maybe even you energetically accidentally were marking yourself against lower frequency energies and really confused as to why movement was not going forward. But again, we can accidentally take things personally, but because it has been such a synchronistic aspect, whatever it is coming up for you, you're kind of pinning the pieces of the puzzle together and looking and saying, okay, is it something inside me? Is there something that I need to change? Communication's in reverse, and this is on feminine side. So what I'm getting with this is a lot of you are tuning in. It's the 9 energy of Hermit card. It's also at a spiritual level, looking at things and, you know, not wanting to jump in the deep end, wanting to understand. And it's like you're testing. And I would say with Venus direct and with Juno direct, at a spiritual level, a lot of you are moving direct. So some of you may be triggered from a perspective. So if I move forward, does this mean it's so? Yes. But the feeling like you're leaving a soldier behind energy is you tapping into the masculine. We really do need to be moving into that feminine in receivership mode. So some of you are doing this from a higher frequency. Some of you may be due to triggers and experiences that are coming up, but communication is in reverse at the moment. The ruin you have, again, is in reverse because, you know, yin and yang energy be coming up at the moment. And with this, it links into Earth, Air, Virgo. Now, the date I have for the Virgo moon is the 23rd. We're going to get into why. Oh, no, 1 minute. Wrong. That's the in-between energy. I told you I marked these in. But to be mindful of the 23rd, because I do feel that some of this is coming up. Okay, so yours relates to Odin. It also relates to Raven, Mercury. At the moment, Mercury's in Cancer, and air. The air energy, we have Gemini in the nodes. We also have Venus direct at the moment. Let's have a look. Delusions, misunderstandings, lies, intellectual stagnation. Again, Aries and Chiron retrograde. I'm telling you, I love these rooms. If something's coming up, it doesn't mean to say it's so. It's to show you a different perspective. Sometimes we can get frustrated and think, oh my God, why is this coming up? It's coming up again. I've looked at it from hundreds of angles. Why does it keep coming up? The further away from the situation you get, you're more enlightened. Epiphanies are coming up though. It's also linking in with not wanting to mess with situations that, in your opinion, just don't bode well. So you're making very rational decisions. I do feel this isn't just linked into the journey. I think in general, especially for those of you in no communication or communication, it lands everywhere. Whatever you're physically doing, it will correlate in some shape or form that there are some people you're cutting out of your life. You're creating very healthy boundaries with yourself. You're directly choosing what you feel at a holistic level is going to be correct for you. When we can move away from appeasing everybody, because we can't, not from an aggressive point of view, that's healing work. But from a rational, logical, Neptune retrograde, I've seen the delusion point of view, you will always be open to give people chances, providing you can see the element of change. And that can be with karmic energies too. But again, you will be very cutting in a sense that if you don't see that there is a transformation, you will be very happy in your little boat and be sitting there and be doing it sweet. Okay, let's link into this. Reversed. This power of persuasion may be used by others to undermine our better judgment or abused by us for the same ends. And that's very karmic. So I do think this links into, in general, energies of BS. You're just not playing. But if you're moving into this, checking it, coming back to space and getting very grounded. Okay. We must take care only to transmit or receive that which we understand and know to be true. Otherwise, we are adding to the misunderstanding and delusion that threatens to destroy the truth. You need to be open. So I think most of you are coming to a perspective where, yes, as I mentioned, you're getting these downloads. You're also not messing with things that need to go. You're not in the egoic, delusional belief system that, some situations were meant to merge. They're not. We're not God. We can't fix everything. We can take it forward and allow those transformative energies to be. So you might be cutting people out of your life, which I'd say some of you are. You may be creating healthy boundaries with yourself, purging and letting that memory go of what was versus what is versus, oh my gosh, what's going to be. But it's also allowing masculine to take that leap of faith, walk towards you. You won't need to coax. Crowning energy. Whatever comes up, see the delusion in it. If it's gossip, if it's naysays, don't add to that fuel. Step back. Let them caper with it. You're not playing. Don't play with karmics. Don't play with karmic energy. Don't play with gossip. Regressing back, linking in with your twin flame path. Linking in with energies and people projecting towards you. You looking at the path. I'm telling you, a lot of you are healing. A lot of old wounds are coming up. A lot of your belief systems of how you were dealing with the journey versus how you deal with it now. You're reflecting back on that and looking at it. A lot of healing's coming from it. Some of you, if you're stuck and you're feeling, oh my gosh, can this change? Remember, that was yesterday. Thanks, Stella. Today is going to be different. The way you deal with it is going to have to be different. The way they're going to have to deal with it is going to be different. Try not to stay in that stagnant energy of being the same. If you're triggered by the same, something's blocked. You need the energy work. So feel free to book a reading and I can do the coaching with you to link where it is. Some of you, and this is what's coming through, some of you have made a direct statement, I'm not playing. And this can be to do with external influences, energies, codependency, victim consciousness, enabling, all of that. You're like, look, you may see or fear that there is something going on in that. And if there is, you've made your statement. I'm not playing. This is how it would need to be. I'm moving forward. I'm detaching from the outcome. These energies need to be removed because I simply will not communicate, deal, or even believe. I won't deal with lower frequency energies. I'm staying up on my throne. If you are, I'm not. And if you are feminine, you're tying that out too, because you know you can't stay on that fence. It doesn't work. You're having the strength to move forward, and you do feel energetically that something's popping up around August. And yes, it is, because we do have Uranus retrograde in Taurus in August. So yes, August is going to be very unique. With that energy, when it goes retrograde, out of nowhere, it's ripped from with under you. So if we aren't in alignment, yes, these energies can, and by dealing with these things, yes, it will. And we do need to spiritually detach from that frequency, allow them to deal with that. And when I say them, it's anyone who isn't doing the work on themselves. You will always know when you can guide a person, when you can partake and share information, how they're going to directly absorb it if they are. If you're fixed on it and it's got to be a certain way, it's really a blockage inside us, and we each will reach that point where we'll learn. Moving forward, you want this fresh romance. Some of you may be meditating upon, okay, do I go to a soulmate energy? Again, what I have found 9 times out of 10 is when you have reached that epiphany point and you are ready to have a connection, you do get contact from twin. So the spiritual test is to be in detachment and open. And yes, suddenly you'll have lots of people coming towards you, making gestures. But at the same time, you will find it is a spiritual test. It can be very karmic in nature. You're in alignment. You can be the same with a soulmate as you can with your twin. But, you know, all those tests that you went through to ascend, you passed them with people around you at a karmic level, and it's to help you be prepared. So theoretically, it's like universe saying you are ready. You can see self-worth. People are showing interest in you. Holding that space and a sense of knowing worth, and then don't get scared when masculine does come back, because you've got all the tools. So some of you may be looking at the other side of the fence, could be a better offer. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the same thing. I've been there. I do know. But it's up to you what your path is. We all end up going full 360 regardless. Your foundation, you know, you maybe had to really provide for yourself, so this is where it's brought you. It's given you the self-esteem. So the hindrance of a lot of what you've been through has actually been your saving grace. It's because you are now coming to connections where they are the salt and pepper. They're not the island. Hi, love. So, you know, when you get to a space where you have that self-worth, which Jen was really great for teaching me that, you know that you potentially were very codependent in previous connections where, right, pick a fence, okay, you be the hunter-gatherer, I'm going to be, you know, the person at home, whatever that be, whatever that attachment was that we had. Once you actually achieve all of those things yourself, you're actually physically going into a relationship for love. That's it. Love, connection, company. No, oh my gosh, I'm going to be abandoned. If you do end up having the person need to leave, or you have to, that is where you need to get, is that you are that island. And once you can come to that space, you will actually notice how much you have been living a very broken life, in a sense, that some of those hopes and goals that you had very separately to love, maybe some of those things in your life weren't developed. And then when you've developed them, you actually do understand it's important to focus on yourself and feed yourself and nurture yourself spiritually. That this is why a lot of that crap you went through. Now, the external energy for feminines. Okay, whatever this is coming up, some of you are fearing you're not going to be prepared. But you are, because if you look back and you've healed enough and you've seen the epiphany and it comes in, universe is saying you're ready. But it's going to take you by surprise. In the past, due to the fact that, you know, maybe you didn't have success, your ego may be telling you that, am I ready? But remember what's coming through for you guys. If you are creating healthy boundaries with energies of people and you've already dealt with that aspect of adversity, you're already doing it, you're in that raven energy, you are energetically prepared for this connection. Also with assessing whether you are ready for this, because it does come down to you, whether you energetically have done enough healing, that you are open to it, that if you have your friends, your hopes, your dreams, your goals, it's the salt and pepper. You are prepared for it, because you will create the healthy boundary with yourself if you feel this energy is not in alignment. You're in the raven energy. You're not playing. Okay, some of you, I'm telling you, this upheaval is not, you're not going to be prepared. You're never prepared. You know, but you don't. And the more you disconnect, it comes in without warning. It's going to show you your shadow, but again, it's very, are you ready to commit? Because when you are, it naturally comes towards you. If you guys have blockages, you know, if I was to say to you, this person's turning up at your doorstep, is if you get scared, and I do recall talking to General at one time and with Giggle, and the same thing happened, I was like, oh, not again. But it's no, not again. It's not like that, because you won't allow that. But that's the work you have to do. That's why the coaching is important. Okay, the foundation is you have freedom of choice. They're free. If you find they're not, you're moving back to this. This can be a subject coming up. Have you tied up your loose ends? Mustn't enable, okay? Very calming, mustn't enable. You may go back into it from a perspective that, yes, there can be soul healing together. But from a perspective, if you see this and you have a trigger point, have a blue, good old Mars, it's as long as you're coming to it from a perspective of going, that needs to be handled, that needs to be on its way, I'm not that person anymore, you will come to that space regardless. So no way in which you ever deal with that journey is wrong. It always does come back. So it's very spiritual in nature. It's just very testing at times at a trigger point when you're being pushed. Now, when it comes to acceptance, oh, thanks, Jen. So I've been saying 1-400 again. I'm like, yes, I'm attempting to stay in alignment. When it comes to a space of making these decisions, I've just gone off track of what was coming up. Let's see what's coming up with masculines. I'll go back to that if it comes to me. Okay, externally, they can be scared that a lot of what they had and what they worked towards has been taken from them. But again, all their fair-based frequencies have actually already been manifested. And this is relating to the instability of previous connections, because it wasn't in alignment in a sense of what they'd wanted. They're tuning into the frequency of having to upgrade these things because they're fearful that you will not be available at some point, because you are coming through as a very independent thinker and blocking. They're scared you're going to block this energy moving forward due to the frequencies of external energies. This is making them very tense. Now, the energy between you, we have hope in reverse, and I had to ask the reason why. Now, as I said, Chiron retrograde in Aries. It's first house placement for all of us collectively when we look at it, but it has its own placement. I've mentioned it on Instagram. Hope in reverse is detachment energy, but you're detaching from things that don't serve you, and that's both yin and yang, masculine and feminine. The ruin that you have is this, which is thus the reason I have it on my wrist. It is linked to protection. Let's get it. Where's it at? Bear with me. I've got sticky labels in the book. Okay, Virgo, 23rd. We're having a Virgo moon on the 23rd. It's earth and air. It's very, these changes are happening. It also links to Swan, which is very twin, right? Now, in the reversal, the quadrant may be in need of protection. Both yin and yang of you are being deeply protective of the work you have done on yourselves, both towards each other and both towards external influences that do not serve this journey moving forward. Okay, the quadrant may be in need of protection, but confirms that such protection is assured. All the quadrant needs to do is confirm the link with the divine through prayer, which is connecting in with the crown chakra. So yes, the delusional energy can be coming through with Neptune retrograde. Connect in with your crown, drink fluid, use amethyst to actually balance it. You can do meditation. If you're getting triggered, it's an attachment energy. Hope can, what the message that's coming through, hope can be attachment. Detachment is, I'm detaching from what doesn't serve me. I'm detaching from the way it comes as an outcome. I know everything is divinely guided. I choose healthier scenarios. If you're in that frequency, bonus. The ruin warns of great peril when we're doing lower frequency situations, right? If you're mixing with something and you know again and again and again it hasn't changed. If you can remove your ego and step back and look at your journey, has it been the same each time with reunion? If you can legitimately see that things have changed and you have changed, then it's not that frequency we're tuning into here. It's external energies and self-mastery. Okay, the ruin itself may be worn as a protective amulet. So I drew it on me because I don't have it, okay? I do psychically, energetically in an auric field. The twig should be sought from a living yew tree. It's itself a powerful protection that has the correct shape when trimmed. Okay, so from an energetic psychic level, connecting in with the divine and knowing everything is divine and it is divinely guided, you're in alignment energy. When you're triggered, Neptune retrograde, get your auric field up, the lower chakras can be impacted, balance them out, do some clearing work of the triggers that come up or book a reading and I'll help you work through them. This moon energy on the 20th, and I did say around the 23rd, because we're going to have the Virgo moon, which does link in with health, analytics, details, what's happening in the collective at the moment. You're going to be in, you need to be in your crown chakra. We're going to be towards the end of the month having Chiron, not Chiron, Cancer and Mercury direct, more to do. So most of this month is retrograde energy plus shadow. We also need to be looking at the frequency of connections, the frequency of our emotions. We're going to be highly intuitive with, you know, the Pisces frequency. You need to be very spiritually in alignment, right? Because on the 20th, we do have a blue moon in Cancer, which is linking to the nodes. It's also the last chance to turn over that new leaf, plus everything you've learnt to implement with that nodal access till the end of the year to stay in alignment. If you don't, it can be very karmic. Now, this, again, at the heart of it, clear your heart. It is higher heart chakra energy because this is innocence energy. It's not to be ignorant. It's to be open to new situations coming in, to move into focusing on where you feel everything can be. A lot of you from an emotional, spiritual, holistic point of view are assessing these things. Is this to the benefit of me? What has it served? What's coming up? And in hindsight, you may see some things you might have dodged a bullet in situations. But I do feel that they're really closing a cycle out here. You may be believing that things aren't moving. Yep. Because of separation. There was, with my coaching sessions, there was one statement made, and it's always good when you have these because you get to upgrade yourself through them. when it comes to love, a lot of you guys may be thinking, okay, because we have no communication, you're angry at yourselves at the moment for feeling love to a person. Check that. Because if you had a mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, friend who passed, do you still love them? Love is not an attachment of, okay, because I love you, I have to get something. That's not love. That's codependency. That's attachment energy. Do not feel guilty for loving someone. You are worthy of love. You may be angry if you feel you're giving too much and it's not reciprocal, and that's the energy of self-worth. It's like when you learn that, this separation is bringing that up in you. And you may be marking yourselves against external energies that they're getting more, but no, they're not. Because when we're not in alignment, we're not giving the best to anyone. All right. Okay. What is Divine Masculine wanting you to know? They're in the same frequency as you, tuning in and being affected, looking at families differently. Understanding that, they're potentially, longing for this energy, also gaining the clarity from the crown and the emotions. And I said to you, the foundation of where they're coming from was their belief was that this connection was the connection, but it was very karmic in nature, and they've seen this. They're wanting to clear this, but they're not really sure how. They are bored with the status quo. They want things to change. But the past they're very bored with, and they've continued to think on you constantly. What they've had versus what they want is you, and they're focused on it. So they're being very strict on themselves at the moment to actually process this from a soul level. So this pattern, they're very different. I mean, even tuning into their energy, they're very different. They're very at pace. Gaining a lot of insight into, who they are, why they did things. This is needed. That's very needed. To see, where they're having the courage, why they haven't had the courage to move forward. The thing was, when you are in a karmic vibration, you tend to attract things that you aren't invested in. So you don't need to change. So it's very comfortable. But once you outgrow it, but that is part of the healing, guys. So, we've been there. Being angry about it is that we're wanting someone to be where we need them to be now. There will always be a blockage on both sides of the path. And when I've done the mirror work with Twin, which, both Jen and Luciana showed me, it's got me to where I am with Union. So there's always the energy that coincides on both sides of the fence. They're really looking at behavior, delusions, lower frequency energy. There's a bit of jealousy coming up at the moment, and that if you're experiencing it in any shape or form, it's because the masculine is moving through this energy. They're moving through it to a point where they're having to address, and it's almost like through that awakening process, like getting the downloads and the person being in their mind all the time, looking at this cup, and even when you're not there, thinking about you, hearing your name, hearing a song. Not a cup. Okay, this is going to be an offer, but it is making them deeply emotional. There's a bit of a purge going on with them at the moment. It's happening at a very internal level. Any questions? I do feel around the 23rd, though. This is when a lot of, I do feel at a soul level between now and the 23rd, really be very cautious of surrounding energies. I'm not getting a good vibe to the surrounding external energies. There's a bit of toxicity there. I don't feel it's linking into masculines. I do feel it's linking into our surroundings and their surroundings. So we do need to be quite mindful of that to protect your auric field. I also do feel that there is communication coming in. I'm going to pull a few from the animal deck. And then I'm going to have to go to the shop to do my shopping because I haven't done shopping. But that's okay. Date yourself. You want to, you want to do everything that you have never done because you've been in connections. It's a healthy, it's like investing. Okay. You confuse them. They're battling it at the moment. Okay. There's a lot of passion here. Again, it does make sense. The orange energy, fear-based frequency, Neptune and Pisces is very much the orange chakra, which can be addictive tendencies. It's very like attachment, dreams, a lot of downloads, a lot of constant thinking of you, wondering why this keeps coming up, also wondering what you're doing, where you are, who you're talking to. And they're not at peace at the moment with that, and it's actually helping them assess how much they really do love you. They don't know where they got off path. They don't know how this is going to go, but they're trying to take on a nurturing energy. It can even be a particular figure inside their life. They look at you as a very wise person, but they could also be speaking to an external person that is a female energy, but their soul is wisening too. It's like their guides are communicating with them to assist with how to address this. A lot of the reasons why some things are coming up for the feminines at the moment is to do a little bit of healing. Some of you are thinking, why hasn't anything come in right now? Or, why didn't you get that in the past, even if you're in communication? Where did we get to this? How on earth do we get from here to where are we going? Neptune retrograde. There is healing through this, and Chiron and Aries is helping you heal some of these things. Okay, what are the unseen of what we don't see right now? What are we not seeing? Is there something coming? Okay, there is yin and yang healing between both of you. You've got medicine man and woman. The yin and yang is being balanced, which does make sense on both sides. This is not going to be bad. You're going to be able to drop these this baggage. Don't own other people's rubbish. Don't own it. Okay, this is your twin flame path coming back on track. Whatever is coming up, the only way you can do it is providing you have dealt with the emotion, but also these healthy boundaries with who to mix with and who not. So if you feel you need to discuss something or an aspect, or it comes to a point they're discussing it, I do feel you are very heavily constantly on their mind. And both of you, this is where you're moving to, getting back on path. Whatever these things are that are popping off this month, which I do feel a risk around the 11th through to about the 25th, it can be very, very heavy energy. With that coming up, caution with the way you tread. Be careful who you entertain and mix with. And I'll come through and check up with you guys before that anyway. But I'm going to love you and leave you. Feel free to comment if you've got any questions. I shall actually answer them after the video is uploaded. And if you are wanting a private session, you can book a reading. Yeah. Any quick questions? Contact. Look, I do have a few that are in union at the moment that I've been coaching. Like I said, the triggers can come up within the connection, which they definitely will. Love you too, Del. I will come back and do a super chat, okay? I'm pretty bombarded at the moment, so I'm not trying to be like, mean or anything. I'm multitasking. I've got shopping to do today, and I haven't done cleaning for 3 days. My house is a wreck. So I would love to sit and talk. But I will come back later. I've got 2 more videos, and we do have mid-month coming up shortly, which are brief check-ins, but it's per zodiac. And I'm trying to move towards the point where I can pre-record them and give you weekly videos. So if I'm not as present, it's because I'm trying to get my crap together so that you guys can have weekly content. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. Love and light, thank you for hitting the like bell. And thank you for your kind donations. And I will keep an eye on the community tab. If you are new, subscribe. And I do tend to put information in the community tab. Oh, thanks, Val. As to when I'm coming live, what the schedule's going to be. And I will be coming through at some point for super chat questions. I'll probably host an event as well on Facebook to give mini reads. I'll say, I don't know. It will be coming up at some point. Love and light. Take care. Any questions? Add them. If you have something that's coming up for you, feel free to tell me and I will add content as to the reason why that is or answer your questions. Thank you for your donations. They do help. They keep me afloat because this is my job. And for the bookings too. It keeps me here on YouTube. Love and light, guys.